that not only is the Biden administration, and listen, I know there's not much that can be done, but obviously we talked about it last night. They're trying to undermine the Supreme Court, as Joe Biden is as he leaves the White House. But what I'm concerned about, too, is they're undermining American strength around the world, and people are paying attention to that. And then you have these little dictators around the world, and even in Latin America, for one, but also when it comes to Muslims in the Middle East. Particularly, or Muslim groups or Muslim terrorists like Hezbollah and Hamas that are having their way, and it's going to cause havoc in the Middle East, and that is going to affect the United States. Whether you're a what they would consider a neocon, or isolation, it doesn't matter. Frankly, it's going to affect us no matter what you believe. And sadly, I am growing increasingly concerned that we may inherit a war from the Biden-Harris administration, and God forbid that Kamala Harris gets into the White House. There's no way that chick will be able to handle a war. We are living in definitely historic times, but we are also living in very dangerous times. So I want to drill down on Kamala Harris. Kamala is a chameleon. I was thinking about this last night, and this isn't new. Someone has said this before, and it just hit me like a light bulb. And I had been asking you guys, by the way, if you want to call into the program, the number to do so, 844-900-7243, 844-900-7243. I had asked callers, and I'm going to ask you to do it again. If there's a name that you would call Kamala, not anything degrading. I don't want to be nasty. I don't want to be stupid. I don't want to be silly. But what I'd like to do is tie Kamala Harris to her record and to Joe Biden's record, because they're virtually one and the same. Except I would argue that Kamala Harris is to the left of Joe Biden. As a matter of fact, Kamala Harris is to the left of Bernie Sanders. I think I read. Honestly, I read a lot on the go. So if I recall correctly, I just read that the only person that was slightly to the left of her was Elizabeth Warren. And I'm not even sure if that was both years that Kamala Harris was in the Senate. But what we have to do, because they're giving us a very short period of time to do it, is to lay groundwork on who this chick is. And she's a chameleon. This lady will say or do absolutely anything to gain power. And I had this article. I've had it for quite some time, but I'm going to go through it. I have not gone through it. But Kamala Harris from A to Z. Also, there was a liberal article in the New Yorker. Thank you so much, Zach, for getting that together. And they're encouraging her to grab a hold of her roots, actually her mother's roots. And I'm going to explain why that's an impossibility for Kamala Harris. And it explains to me why she's so radical, and frankly, why Kamala Harris is so dangerous. But Kamala Harris is nothing more than a chameleon. Again, she will say and she will do whatever it takes to gain power for herself. What you have to understand about Kamala Harris is she's a California leftist. You know what's so funny is I had been predicting at one point that it was going to be Gavin Newsom that was going to be the nominee for the Democrat Party. I wasn't wrong. Carl, what do you mean he's not the nominee? Now, Kamala Harris isn't officially the nominee, but when you sit here and think about it, the left played a very they're just smooth. They're willing to do whatever it takes to win. They did pick a Gavin Newsom. They just happened to pick a dark-skinned Gavin Newsom with a vagina that doesn't have a gubernatorial record that you can expose right away. All of this stuff is intentional, but she's as far left as Gavin Newsom is. She is a California leftist. And if you want the rest of the United States to look like California, and we've heard the stories of California. I used to live in California. It's turned into a dumpster fire as a result of Democratic policies. This is a lady, and rightfully so, the Republican Party hat tip Washington Examiner. Thank you, Zach. The liberal record Kamala Harris will like you to forget about in 2024. So Republicans have been increasing their criticism of Harris's substance over her style since Democrats started calling for Joe Biden to step down as their party's presumptive nominee. From her past support of Medicare for all Now, she talked about all of this stuff in her rally last night, and we have some video clips that we'll play for you shortly. But Kamala Harris, make no doubt about it, she is a Democratic socialist. Actually, she's further left than that. Medicare for all. That means she wants single payer. She wants a single payer system. She wants socialized medicine. She wants you to have to wait in line. You're going to pay, enormous taxes like they do in Europe. And there'll be some good doctors out there, right? But those good doctors will have time for those that have money, those that are rich, those that can afford, catered care, if you will, but not so much for you. So you'll get to pay a buttload of taxes, and you'll get to wait in line longer, and you'll have subpar care because you're going to get fewer doctors. You're going to get fewer nurses because they're not going to be incentivized to go into medicine. Why would anybody go into medicine if you're telling doctors you're going to make a lot less and you're going to see a lot more people? Oh, well, doctors should do that. Healthcare is a right. No, damn it. Healthcare is not a right. You do not have a right to anyone's freaking time. Who the hell are you, God? You don't have the right to tell any individual how much of their life, how much of their blood, sweat, and treasure they should spend wiping your butt. You don't have that right. This is who Kamala Harris is. She wants the new Green Deal. Did you guys see that video? There was a video. I didn't even learn about this video until I heard my buddy Christopher Hart talking about it. I watched this thing online. There was a gentleman, and I put it up on my X page. Listen, it takes a strong stomach to watch it. I'm not even one that can typically watch that stuff, but I hate EVs. I hate all these electric bikes. I saw this dude riding an electric bike the other day. His butt was so big, I thought he was Megan Thee Stallion. I was like, dude, go get some real pedals and slim that thing down. But EVs, I can't stand that thing. But these things, this guy had a battery for an electric bike. He steps into an elevator. The moment that he steps into that elevator, he closes the door. This thing literally sets on fire and explodes. The next thing you know, the video they have are paramedics or security, whomever. It looked like he was, I don't know if he was at an apartment complex, hotel, or whatever. They're dragging his burnt, crisp body out of the elevator. Those things are not safe. They're not good for the environment. This new Green Deal is about power. It's about redistributing wealth. The problem is you don't get a cut, and that's only the start of it. Kamala Harris is a radical leftist, and she shouldn't be anywhere near the White House.